Now today we will cover only the important space missions India has conducted over these years. And then I will also touch upon a very few important missions of NASA and the applications of space science to the welfare of the mankind. This I will now touch in a brief way. With this, I hope we will be concluding this topic. After conclusion of the topic, the questions can be put up so that now
Yes,
I'll
sir.
be able to give answers. Right.
Yes, sir.
Now let's talk about the important space missions. We told you while touching the space program, I told you R.A. Bhatta in 1975 was our first satellite which we have developed indigenously and sent into space. That time a space launch vehicle was not available. That's why now we had to depend on somebody. It was sent by Russia Cosmodrome. Then next satellite was Bhaskara. All today I am covering now many names. Out of that, very few are important. I am not touching all the. Now there will be hundreds of satellites now we would have launched into the space all these years, but those are all not important. What satellites we have launched in 18, 19, 2018, 20, which are still available and they are now working for us from the space. These are of value. I will tell you which is important, which is not. Remaining are only for academic interest. I am speaking out the names, but don't get confused and be baffled about the names which I am going to give. This is an academic importance which you need to know the names. That's why I'm giving, so that whenever you see name, no, it strikes your mind. It's related to uh, satellite. Well, after Aryabhatta, next Bhaskara was developed by us. It was also a small satellite which was meant for observing the Earth. These are all experimental satellites. Bhaskara led to Rohini series. There was a series of Rohini, particularly 3 satellites, and then INSAT series. After that, after that, Rohini series have come, and another one, Apple Ariane payload, passenger payload launch satellite. This was also purely experimental. All these satellites, only Rohini series we could able to launch through our SLV, not PSLV, not GSLV, SLV. But remaining all other satellites, we took the help of international space launching centers, and we have sent them into space. The important one which you see it from 1819 onwards, now I am giving the developments, probably about 10 names you need to just simply remember. Microsat R is the one satellite which is for the purposes DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization of India, just like ISRO, which looks after the space programs. DRDO is the organization looks our defense activities, defense programs, developments, research and advancement. So for the purposes of DRDO, that means no, the military purposes, Microsat R was sent into space. Our PSLV has sent this vehicle, this satellite into space. It only serves the military purposes. Major thing is it is giving an imaging satellite, means no, it sends pictures wherever some kind of an activity is going on Earth, which cannot be seen by sitting here. This satellite takes pictures and then transmits to Earth. It's an imaging satellite. Then along with the microsat, same PSLV has taken one satellite called Kalam Sat, named after APJ Abdul Kalam. Kalam Sat was a student satellite. Kalam Sat was developed by a student organization in Chennai and sent along with microsat through PSLV. It is experiments are designed to study the nanotechnology related experiments in space. Next one is a GSAT series, GSAT 31, GSAT 30. These two satellites, they are meant for telecommunication and then audio, video, data broadcasting. These are supposed to be there in the space for 15 years. They have to work for 15 years in the space for these purposes. And these two satellites were sent through Ariane satellite launch vehicle from Kourou, French Guyana. I told you, just like our Sriharikota, Kourou station in French Guyana is a space launch station, which is a very prominent launching pad. And the pay vehicle, like our PSLV, their space launch vehicle is called Ariane. So GSAT series, GSAT 31 and 30, both are sent through Ariane launch vehicle from Kourou, French Guyana. Then EMISAT, EMISAT, EMISAT. EMISAT is, again, it is meant for DRDO. ISRO and DRDO both have combinedly developed it. This is sent through PSLV. It is a reconnaissance satellite for defense surveillance purposes. What it does, it finds any human movement on our borders, and immediately it takes pictures and notifies to the Earth station. That means any foreign country is invading us without our knowledge. They are now sending their troops. In the process of sending their troops, this satellite helps in taking the pictures, gives us advanced information where human movement in the borders is concerned. So this is purely a military purposes a satellite. Many details are not available since military details are classified details. Well, RISAT, RISAT, RISAT is again through PSLV. It is radar imaging. It is meant for radar imaging. Somebody asked, what is a beta broadcasting? I have to get the answer. I have to search and give you answer. Right away, it's not available. Beta broadcasting, probably a satellite does. What is this process? I will be able to explain it subsequently. Thank you. Thank you for asking a question. RISAT 2, RISAT 2B, these are the satellites. RISAT 2 is a satellite now which works only a certain daytime only. RISAT 2B works, it's a weather surveillance satellite. It works both day and night. That means the cameras fixed and the power generated for operating these cameras was advanced version from RISAT 2. Then we told you last time that one of the important communication satellites which gives us our GPS, like GPS, you are getting GPS. This GPS is really an American satellite provides the GPS to the whole of the world. India has sent similar kind of a satellite which takes care of Indian subcontinent's GPS requirements. The satellite is called IRNSS, Indian Regional last time navigational satellite system, I told you. This is otherwise called NAVIC, NAVIC. That means navigation with intercontinental stellar, NAVICS it is called. It is not a single satellite, it is a series of satellites. There will be 7 satellites now continuously placed in the around the earth, so that from any given place all 7 satellites will be working to provide real-time information to our GPS system. So you have to know only IRNSS is otherwise called NAVIC, It is a communication satellite. It is not a single satellite. It is a group of satellites. 7 satellites give real-time information to India. Then in that, I told you there is one satellite which is called which was meant for only air traffic purposes, which is called Gagan. I think you will remember it. RESAT 2 BR1. It is the advanced version of RESAT satellite. This is the recent one which was sent in 18 or 19, sent through a PSLV, and agriculture, particularly disaster management, prediction of these things is the purpose of this satellite. RI means it is nothing but radio imaging. Then Cartosat is the another satellite which was sent in. Earlier it was sent, but no, recent Cartosat 3 is sent during 19. This Cartosat is, last time we came across this word cartography, that is mapping. It helps in mapping the earth, mapping any area, such kind of it. So this Cartosat 3 is again a series of satellites. Here number of satellites are 3. It is a remote sensing one. It's also Earth observation satellite. Cartosat, Earth observation, which helps in the data which it sends, will be the digital data which it sends is decoded on the Earth, and then it is converted into latitude, longitudinals, and then it helps in mapping, developing maps of that particular area. This is Cartosat. Then the Chandrayaan 1, it is an unmanned mission which we have now attempted in 2008 to study the surface, composition of the soil on the surface, seismographic details, and mineralogical deposits of the moon's surface. This is a lunar vehicle which we have sent to the moon for the first time. It is an unmanned mission, and it was not supposed to land anything on the moon. It was supposed to revolve around the moon in moon's orbit. So it was an orbital mission, unmanned mission, sent to study the features and atmosphere on the moon. Well, it was supposed to work for 2 years. In 9 months, there was a snag in it lost communication contact, and then it outlived its the project was terminated in 2009. But by then, the purpose for which we have sent the satellite was almost, we knew by then that we can send satellites which can work upon the moon. That was the inference from that experiment. Subsequently, in 2019, Chandrayaan 2 was again launched. Unlike Chandrayaan 1, Chandrayaan 2, it is again a unmanned mission, but here it was not only an orbital mission. Here we designed to send a rover which can land on the surface of the moon and conduct certain experiments directly on the moon's surface. The important features of Chandrayaan 2, since it is a very recent one and we have almost succeeded in this mission, you need to remember these points. Chandrayaan 2 is an advanced version of Chandrayaan 1. It is an unmanned mission. It is earlier Chandrayaan 1 has got only an orbiter, so that it can go around the moon. Now here it has got an orbiter which revolves around the moon, it has got a lander. Lander is called Vikram. Lander means a one which helps some object, which carries some object, and it lands the object onto the moon surface. The one which lands on the moon with the help of a lander is called rover. Rover means lander takes the rover along with it, and then it leaves the rover very carefully onto the moon's surface. Lander is called Vikram here. Rover, name of the rover was Pragyan. That was the rover name. Here, unfortunately, what happened? It served almost 95% with accuracy. It served very well. But unfortunately, while landing the rover onto the moon surface, the lander got disconnected. It deviated from its path, and the signal from the space from the lander was lost to the Earth space when rover was about 2 kilometers. In 2 kilometers distance, the signal got cut, disconnected. So the lander crashed with the rover onto the moon surface, then placing the rover in a very smooth landing. Imagine you are flying in a flight. What is the crash landing? It comes with a either it will not be very smooth. On the wheels, no, it will not touch the ground, and then no smooth. You don't have any the jolts and all that. It will be a good landing. That's called a soft landing. But when sometimes in an emergency you crash landed, there will be heavy sounds, heavy thud, lot of jolt is there. Passengers get disturbed from their seats here and there. There can be injuries also. So same thing happened when rover was to be launched on the moon in a soft manner. It was not possible. Up to 2 kilometers above the surface of the earth, it was very smooth. But from there, some technological error happened, and then no, it could not land. But however, 90 to 95% of the expected result of the vehicle was we succeeded in that, getting the result. Here, one more different point is that all earlier moon missions, they were concentrating on the north pole of the moon. But here, we wanted to launch our rover onto the south pole. South pole was presumed to be a water body on the south pole, so that if at all through our experiments we find water is available or atmosphere for the living of the mankind is available on the south pole, probably that is to be explorated in further areas to develop a colony for the inhabitation of the human beings on the south pole. So only US, Russia, and then China could able to do this soft landing till now. Had our mission been successful, we would have been the fourth country to do this soft landing on the moon. Well, topography, seismological mineral identification, surface composition, atmosphere on the moon, these are all the purposes of study of this mission. Scientific equipment for the study, these studies, intended studies, will be placed here on an orbiter as well as launching, that means the Vikram, and on rover also experiments will be placed, so that when rover goes there, lands on the moon surface, all the experiments related equipment are placed on the rover. So here only the lander will not have the equipment, orbiter and rover will have the equipments. Chandrayaan 2, I will again know because it is important. I will again know briefly tell you. Chandrayaan 2 is an unmanned mission, advanced version of Chandrayaan 1, and it is 3 parts will be there: an orbiter, and then a lander and rover. It was 90 to 95% success was there. It was meant to study the features of the moon. South Pole is important thing, and again South Pole was the important thing. And launch vehicle is Chandrayaan 1 PSLV was the launch vehicle. Chandrayaan 2 GSLV Mark 3, which is the very advanced one which we have right now. It has carried out. India would have been the 4th country had soft landing happened. Otherwise, it is a successful mission. Now, in 2023, Chandrayaan 3 is planned. Chandrayaan 3, here we wanted to send astronauts through this machine. Astronauts are getting trained in USSR. 4 astronauts are picked up for this training. Out of that, ultimately, the number would be selected and sent. Another important space mission, which has now currently happened, which you need to remember, is MOM, Mars Orbiter Mission. Mars Orbiter Mission is again PSLV was the launch vehicle. It was meant to be placed in Mars orbit. It is again an unmanned mission. It is to know how life is on a Mars, what are the physical features of the Mars, atmosphere on the Mars. These are all the purposes of sending this mission. This is the first ever interplanetary mission attempted by India. Other countries have sent it, but for India, beyond a moon, it is a touching another planet. This is the first such orbit. It is called first interplanetary mission. Well, with this, the existing important, we have covered previous missions covered, and now few important missions now currently which are important in 1918 to 2020 we have covered. What are the missions under progress? What are our future missions which are currently under progress? There are 3 you need to remember. One is Aditya mission, Aditya L1 mission. Aditya is nothing but another name for sun. Aditya L1 is, it will be placed in sun orbit. This is again, it is to study the outermost layers of corona and then know weather on the sun. All these features it wanted to study. This is in 2020, it is to be launched, and it is getting 2020, it's getting delayed, but it's almost complete. It's about to be launched. Aditya L1. When you read now, when you listen to L1, L1 means you have in earlier orbits, we have sun synchronous orbit. We studied about sun synchronous orbit. Sun synchronous orbit, we also discussed about 5 points which are called Lagrangian points: L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. Aditya is going to be launched in Lagrangian point 1. A Lagrangian point is nothing but a place between 2 major objects. If you are placing one minor object in that area, it will withstand the gravitational pull of both the larger units. The force, centripetal force of this particular smaller object which is placed in Lagrangian point will be equivalent to the combined pull of both the objects. This is an advantageous points to any satellite. so that it will not fall due to any pressure or pull from any major object. Here major objects are the Aditya 1 is to be placed between two major objects. Major objects are nothing but Sun and Earth. Between Sun and Earth, in the Sun synchronous orbit, in a place called L1, Lagrangian point 1, Aditya is going to be placed so that the point gives a particular advantage to the satellite to stay in the orbit without being attracted by pull of either Sun or the Earth. Then next one which is going to come is Gaganayan. Gaganayan. Gaganayan is again a space to study the space. It is again a manned space mission. We are thinking manned space mission. It will be by GSLV 3 only. Here, along with the astronauts, a female robo astronaut called Vyoma Mitra, friend of space exploration, along with the human astronauts, a female robo astronaut called Vyoma Mitra will also be sent. Vyoma Mitra will also conduct some experiments in the space. The third one which you need to remember, which is going to come, is Shukrayan. Shukrayan is the one like Mars. This is a mission we are aiming to see the conditions on Venus. Origin and then a surface of Venus, weather on the Venus, all these things will be studied by Shukrayan. Importantly, Chandrayaan 1, Chandrayaan 2 and MOM. Important, the missions which are going to come are Aditya L1, Gaganayan and then Shukrayan. In the previous satellites which I have sent to that, you will have to remember INRSS, which is a GPS satellite, a set of satellites, Cartosat, these are the things. Kalpana is one of the satellites named after our Kalpana Chawla, who lost lives in 1986 manned mission by NASA. This was particularly a weather monitoring satellite. It's only to commemorate the services of Chawla, remember in memory of Mrs. Kalpana Chawla. This is it. So a small significance is only a Kalpana when you name, hear the name of the Kalpana of a satellite, you need to relate it to Kalpana Chawla. That's all. So one more thing which you need to remember, Rakesh Sharma along with the other astronauts, he was one of the astronauts who went into space. He is the first person. He went into the permanent space station. He was there for some days and then returned to Earth safely. When Indira Gandhi asked him, when he was in the space station, Indira Gandhi asked him how India is looking from there, from the space, how India was looking like. He has given a very resourceful answer, which is remembered by everybody every time. He said, Sare jahan se acha. It's better than it is the best which he is seeing on the whole earth, whole world. India is the best. Sare jahan se acha. Only to simply to give you information or motivate you, I told that. With this, we completed the important missions by India. I will only touch a few missions which are only academic interest by NASA. Like India, NASA is also a prominent space research agency. So here what they have done is that apart from manned missions, apart from the sending astronauts to the moon, space, apart from starting their own space station, permanent space station, in the lower, which is now continuously it is moving, only astronauts keep changing. Like in shifts, one set of astronauts will go there, they conduct few experiments for a few months. After that, now that set comes back, another set goes there. Likewise, it is a continuously running manned mission. It's a continuously running permanent space station. It is again no a sharing by another 5 countries. This permanent space station is still there. It's a continuous phenomena in low Earth orbit. NASA, you will have to remember, on MMS is one mission. It is magnetoscopic multi-scale mission, that is MMS. It is again interplanetary to know about collision of various objects in the space. How collision occurs, what happens when they collide, and now what are the outcome of that, what will be the weather changes on the earth because of this collision. This is called MMS. Other one is TESS, TESS, TESS. It is transiting experiment exoplanet survey satellite. There will be, it is to find out satellites which are no big, the some planets other than the known planets. It wanted to study any super Earth similar planets which have similar features like Earth, whether you have any super Earth planets in the space other than the known planets. For that particular study, this test does, TESS. The super Earth, these are now very far in the space, is 31 light years away from us. This that is no, the super Earth which they called, there should be habitable zone for human beings. This is otherwise called Goldilocks zone. The habitable super Earth planets found through tests are called Goldilocks zone. A couple of years ago, they asked what is a Goldilocks zone. That's why I am citing this. Apollo 11, you know, this is the first moon exploration, wherein three astronauts went there. First, Neil Armstrong set his foot on the moon. Then Voyagers are the space launch shuttles which were sent by NASA. Voyager, there is no long time, it is going from one planet to other. It has got a long life. It has, for the past 15 years, Voyagers are in the space. They are still moving. After now completing their mission, whenever it goes to some planet, it sends the data, it sends the photograph. Likewise, today also we are getting photos sent by Voyager missions, and data is getting no. It is totally to understand the solar system, the implications of the solar system. Voyagers are functioning. There is, I told you, International Space Station is there. That is equivalent to a football field. That is a permanent space station. It will have all your bedrooms, bathrooms, everything. Now there is a gym also in that. That's a space station, so that astronauts feel comfortable or now working for months together there. Well, then Hubble telescope is one thing, which is again now sent into the space. Hubble telescope is only to study the asteroids and stars, such kind of astronomical studies. This Hubble telescope, it sends the pictures and data gets decoded. Why all these things means, in the in the stars and in the asteroids, people believe there is large mineral deposits there. Like even valuable minerals like gold and silver, such kind of deposits are also there. Our whole attempt is to study and see if it is feasible by some way we can explore the mineral wealth that's available in this space, so that mankind will get richer. So that is the objective for this studying the, apart from general observations, studying the and then conquering, they want to conquer asteroids, stars, such kind of a constellations, whether they would be of any help to mankind in any way. Well,